to San Antonio. Riverwalk, no, he's not at the Riverwalk at the Hard Rock where all the fans were today. He's in the press room working like he's been working like a dog for 3 weeks and 11 every second. France Beard, this is your time, my man. This team is validating everything you ever believed about Florida basketball. And you told us when he was hired, this guy can get it done. You got to have a certain amount of pride in that. You call this shot. And what a joy it's been for everybody in the Gator. I mean, we're seeing Gator fans come out of the woodwork that we never knew existed. What a time for Gator fans, huh?
It is, and this is a guy that can sustain it. Mike White had one good year, and then that was it. And the rest of the time, he was losing 12, 15 games a year. This guy's not going to be doing that. This guy knows what he's doing, knows how to build a roster, which is what we've seen. And this is why Florida's here. Florida's here because Todd Golden built the best roster in the NCAA. I got sick leading up to Saturday hearing about Duke may be the greatest team of all time.
Yeah.
That's BS.
Yeah.
I can think, buddy, as many years as I've been doing this, I can think of 20 teams that would have killed them, absolutely destroyed them.
You call that shot, but how did they let that get away from them? You believe that game was in hand till the final 2 minutes? Yeah, it was a choke, without a doubt.
It's one of the greatest. It's maybe the greatest choke job ever in the history of the NCAA.
Wow.
When you think about it, they had the game won. They're up 14 points, and what do? They choked. And anybody who wants to call it anything different, and I see the national media, they don't want to say it because Duke's the sacred cow now, buddy. And guess what? The sacred cow just got its ass handed to it on a platter by a Houston team that had no business, that was getting blown out.
Mm-hmm.
And give credit to Houston. Houston played hard and never gave up. But Duke choked. Duke did not. Duke could have and should have won that game by they were on their way to a 25 point blowout. And I got to believe that John Shire shut it down, went conservative, and stopped doing what they were doing best. And as a result, they got beat. And this is the thing you got to do in games like this. Al McGuire used to say, you get your foot on their throat and then you stomp it down and break the trachea. Okay. And
you're gonna make this rock fight analogy again tonight because you made it every single night on this show. Every night, rock fight. Is this a rock fight? Because rock fights have done pretty well for the Gators.
Florida's been able to handle them very, very well. And it's why the depth pays off. Because sooner or later, you got to call fouls on the other guys too. And when they start calling the fouls on the other guys don't have the kind of depth Florida has. Houston's got 3 guys that are 6'8", 6'7". Florida's got 4 guys that are, Tommy Hawk, they list him as 6'9", he's 6'10". They got, Sam Alexis, who they haven't used, who they could, and I think they may use him tonight, and he's 6'9", 240. And then you got Condon, who's 7'1", Hanlongton, who's taller than Condon, and Ruben Tinulo, who is every bit as tall as Alex Condon. Florida's got super size, and size alone won't get it if you don't have the guards to go
girth. How about girth? How about Elijah Martin taking that ball down? I got numerous pictures. I wish I could show them. We showed them last night. Unbelievable shots. I talked about it in this morning show with Rob and you about that shot. I swear he left at the floor at the foul line. And talk about a thunder jam. That was it, man. And that was such a huge statement. And someone said, boy, I tell you what, one thing Houston better not do. They better not get in the way of Elijah Martin because he is like Jim Brown coming down in the gauntlet. And I looked up his size because I couldn't believe it. They listed him at 6'2" and 215. I mean, he looks to me like he's 6'4" and 240. And he leaves the floor like a gazelle. He jumps out of the gym. So that shot was one of that. There'll be a couple of plays I'll remember from that game. That's one. I'll never forget the shot uh, that Walt made. It looked like the ball went behind the glass and back around. How you got that shot off and how you made it. I mean, that you can shoot it 100 times and not make it, but maybe 10. Amazing. So those two plays stick in my mind. What plays stick out in your mind, France?
One of them was the block Tommy Hawk had down at the other end on
Yeah,
uh,
behind it.
Broom went in for a dunk, and Tommy Hawk comes up
Yeah,
and jams him.
that
And
was a great.
that one really was. And the other one was a steal early in the game by Will Richard. Will Richard punches it ahead to Elijah Martin. It was the first of his dunks. Wasn't as spectacular as the other two, but that steal came at a critical time. And you look at this Auburn led at the half 48-40. And
A big 48-42, by the way.
it was
It
a
looked
big 48-40. But here's the thing: is Florida had some three big plays there at the end of the half that kept it at 8. Auburn could have made that 12 or 14 points, but Florida made the big plays, and that goes underrated and undervalued in what made this comeback possible. I think those making those plays at the end of the first half bled over into the locker room, bled over into the attitude adjustment that went on. Um, Carlin Hartman went in there and said, "Hey guys, you know you're better than this.
yeah, he
You
did.
are better than this."
Hmm.
And he didn't yell, he didn't scream at him. He said they're challenging your manhood, and you are better than this.
And his son
And
learned how
then
to remember how to play defense again.
yeah, and then Walt comes in there and says, "I trust you. We trust in you. So don't betray our trust. Get in there and do it." And they did it. And that's the kind, you can do this with a team that's as together as Florida is, buddy. You can do this when you got guys that really do believe in each other, that really do believe in their coaches. And there's something to be said about trust. It gets overlooked in every team sport there is. But if you don't have the trust between teammates, it just doesn't work. Particularly,
Well,
I think,
that is true. I shouldn't interrupt you, but I want to get to the point about will. Of course, will is the big. I love Barkley's statement about there's will and skill, and I think what Houston went on was will without a doubt. But here's the thing about Florida: they have will and skill.
yes,
They
they
got them
do.
both, and that's the thing. They're a tough out. You can't get out of their clutches once they start playing. Tonight, I got to hope that they start off shooting the basketball well and rebounding the basketball and playing defense and rebounding like they used to rebound. And that's going to be a big because I'm going to tell you what, Houston's scrappy on the glass. They are scrappy. So we'll see what happens. But what an exciting time. Talk to me about that strategy. We know we're going to see a whole wave of Gators out there tonight. I expect
Yeah.
to see 9 Gators maybe in the game tonight, different ones. And I expect to see substitutions when somebody gets tired. Last night, yesterday, before yesterday, Todd left Walt on the bench for a while there. He tried to get him in and couldn't, and didn't take the timeout. He use or lose a timeout. And then I said about Coleman, you mentioned it this morning. I'm thinking, why does he put Walter back in the game? Well, of course, he was saving his legs naturally, but they were a little bit gassed. But what do you see the strategy tonight? Lay it out for me. What you think Todd is thinking?
For one thing, you got to wear Houston out. The other, I say threefold, buddy. Number one, it's got to be a one and done for Houston, which means that if the shot doesn't go in, they got to be done. Florida's got to get the rebound. Okay. You can't let Houston dominate you on the boards. And here's the other thing: if Houston does not get that rebound, Florida is one of the 2 or 3 top fast break teams in the country. Houston sends a lot of people to the glass. If Florida gets the rebound, boom, Florida will score fast break points. That's number one. Number two, they're going to rest people. They're going to come at Houston in waves, and they're going to take the ball to the rack. I think both Walter, uh, Elijah, Will Richard, and then the big guys are going to be going straight to the rack. because if Houston gets in foul trouble early, Houston's in trouble. Um, Houston was in foul trouble early, and then Duke let his foot off the gas. Duke had that game won. They're up by 14 points, and they're killing them on the glass. They're killing them everywhere. And then what happens? They let it. I give Calvin credit. He got his team to play hard, but Duke let that game go. That's on Duke. That's not on. That game is more on Duke losing it than it is on Houston winning it. The third thing that's got to happen is this: Florida doesn't need to force shots. If Florida goes through its usual routine of moving the basketball with that dribble handoff that they run so well in the curl action, there will be shots. Take the good shots. Don't wait on just one guy to get them. If you've got the good shot, take it. And that's going to be critical. If the Gators do that, they're going to be just fine.
All right, France. Talk about the atmosphere there. You've been there for 4 days, whatever it may be. I saw a piece tonight on Bime Bomb show. They were out at the Hard Rock Cafe on the Riverwalk. A whole the Gator sponsor, alumni sponsored event. It was wall to wall Gators naturally. They were loud and bawdy and loud. And they were all Chris Storing showed up and they were a lot. There's a lot of hoopla for these Florida Gators. Everybody who wasn't on the bandwagon is now on the bandwagon. Friends, you told them a long time ago what to expect, and now you're seeing it. Talk about the atmosphere there, what it feels like in you're out there in Texas, in San Antonio. What's it like?
You're seeing Gators everywhere. Yesterday up at a Brazilian steakhouse up uh,
Wait,
12
wait.
miles.
You went to a Brazilian steakhouses or a Brazilian?
Brazilian,
Oh, not a Brazilian.
Brazilian.
Okay, okay.
At a Brazilian steakhouse about 12, 14 miles northwest of the city.
Mm-hmm.
You go in there and there are Gators in there. Everywhere I have been, there's somebody saying, you're hearing "Go Gators," or you're saying it yourself because there are people there. I got here early. The doors to the arena don't open until about 3 minutes from now, is when the doors to the arena are open. Florida fans already out there in the sun, and it's an intense sun out there. Temperature's not high, but the sun's just really intense, and people getting out there in the sun, sitting down on the concrete, waiting for those doors to open. Gators everywhere. Parking lots full of Gators. Uh, they can't. They're running out of Gator merchandise. This place is ready. This place is ready to erupt for Florida. And here's the other thing too. If Houston loses, okay, Houston got to two Final Fours back in the days of Elvin Hayes, as you remember.
Yeah.
Um, They got to three consecutive Final Fours with Drexler and Olajuwon, and that bunch lost in the national championship game back to back. Um, Somebody wrote today that Houston needs this to validate itself as a great program. Yeah, well, guess what? I don't care. They're Houston.
Okay.
We're
That's fair.
we're
That's
they're
fair.
Houston. We're the Gators,
Mhm.
and I don't give a rat's ass about Houston. All I know is they stand in the way of a third national championship tonight, one that I believe the Florida Gators are going to get. I
I do
think
remember
Florida.
Slamma Jamma being a great team that Jimmy
Oh,
Valvano took him down. So,
Jimmy
but yeah,
V beat them, and Georgetown beat them the next year.
yeah, I was at that game also. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It's in 30 seconds. Tell them what it's like being at the Final Four championship game. What's it like? You old wily veteran, you.
Um, I've been at national championships for football, and I've been at them for basketball. The basketball's better. It really is. And it's probably because it's such a tightly enclosed atmosphere. Even inside here, and there's going to be 70,000 people here tonight. And, but even with that, it's enclosed. The noise cannot escape. The people, uh, the game goes faster, everything like that. There's just something about the basketball that makes it more.
Saturday, friends, with all four teams is amazing. The
Yeah.
bands are all there. The fans are all there. I mean, it's an amazing Saturday of just of any sport. It's probably as good a day as you're going to have.
Well, it's the final four, and there's a difference here. In football, if you don't make the championship, nobody remembers that you made the semifinals. They don't call that the final four because it's played in two different venues. This is played at the same spot where all the fans gather from all over the country and the world into that one place for one last hurrah. 2 days, the season's over. There's no waiting a week, between games. Semifinal games in football, you wait 10 days before they're played again, and they lose something when they do that. This is 2 days later, you play the semifinals, you're off a day, and then on Monday night, you're
Yeah,
playing and you're hoping that you're going to see
yeah,
one shining no moment
yeah.
that you're going to be on there.
That'll be tonight. And by the way, let me just tell you this. I know you got to go quickly. I know you've been on the bandwagon for a long time. So is Shane Matthews. I'm going to grab him. Meanwhile, I'm going to tell you about our sponsors, particularly Meldon Law. I know one happy dude is Jeffrey Meldon. He's been good friends with Todd Golden for a long time. He suffered through with Todd's problems earlier in the year. He's been there for Todd all the way, and he's a happy man. He is there tonight in San Antonio cheering home his Gators, and he's loving life. And he wants you to remember he isn't a lawyer business. So if you need lawyer help, I suggest that you give them a call. They got several locations to serve you, including Ocala, Gainesville, Williston. They do not back down. That's Meldon Law. They'll take you. Let's see if we get a hold of Shane Matthews right now and talk to another guy who's been on the bandwagon for a while now. He's been saying that this is going to be a Florida's year. Shane, how are you feeling about this?
Well, buddy, I mean, I've been on. I said on my show today because I say it every time we win a game. In the press box of the Gasparilla Bowl, when I was talking to all the beat writers, I said it was the best team that I had seen the Gators have with the best player they've ever had in my time as a Gator. I think they cut down the nets tonight. I think too much firepower. Just got to rebound the basketball and don't turn it over, and I think we win.
Of that game, and Francis with us here online, of that game, we talked about the memorable moments, whether it was Elijah Martin's thunder dunk, whether it was a great shot that Walter made from behind the glass in the corner. And Francis brings up the one with Tommy House block from behind, which was key as well. What stood out to you? What plays there, Shane Matthews?
Well, I think anytime you make it this far, there's multiple guys that make great plays. But I mean, the shots that Walter made. I mean, Tommy Hawk has made some crucial plays as well. I mean, Elijah Martin, he could easily be a Houston Cougar. That's the kind of players they have. They just get up in your face and get after you. So, look, it's been a remarkable season, regardless of the outcome. But I think we're a much better basketball team. I have a lot of respect for Houston and what Kelvin Sampson does, but they can go through some lulls offensively. If we can just get ahead, if we can pound on the Roberts kid, number 13, their big man that's left-handed, who looks like he's 42 years old, if we can just keep him in check, I think we're going to be okay.
Franz, what's your response to that?
Well, Florida Robertson, they've got to keep him in check. They've got to keep L.J. Cryer from getting to the rim and getting fouled a lot, and he can do that. He played for Baylor. He's now at Houston. He's a terrific player. But if they stop those two guys, it's going to be really hard for Florida to lose this ball game.
Got a score for me, Shane?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, they can muddy it up a little bit, but if we can get some transition early, I don't care what the damn score is. I don't care if we win 33-30. But I like us tonight. I just think I've said it every week. I don't feel like Walter shoots enough. I think he tries to get too many people involved early. We ain't got any more games, Walter. Take over the game early.
I thought about you last night. I was dispirited when Walter sat the bench a while. That's Why is he on the bench? And at halftime, I was having some thoughts about you. I thought, take the basketball and shoot it every damn time, Walter. When you get down, I don't care if you shoot 40 times. More than half are going to go in. I thought about you saying he doesn't shoot enough. Well, tonight, let's see what happens.
Yeah, and I think people underestimate his ability to drive to the basket. He's got tremendous body control. He's stronger than you think, and he can get fouled. And he did it the other night against Auburn. But I think we're going to play well tonight. We really haven't played two good halves yet, and I'm excited to watch them. No doubt about it.
All right, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask Franz to wrap it up here. Give me the scenario tonight. The player that you might think might play a key role. I was asked on another program from Oregon about what unsung player from Florida might make the difference. I said the problem is they're all sung players. There's not one of them unsung because any of them can make any shot any time. So give me your thoughts on that. I'll get Francis. The player you think expect to step up.
Well, the player that I think that causes a serious mismatch is Thomas Houck. He's a big man that has tremendous basketball instincts. He can handle the basketball, he can pass the basketball, and he can shoot. And he's got great quickness for his size. He's the guy that I think Houston's going to have trouble guarding on the offensive end.
Franz, go, and I'll let Shane get back to us. Get ready for the show. Go ahead, Franz.
I think the guy that's going to be the unsung hero for Florida is Ruben Chignello. With those big, strong hands he's got, I think if Ruben gets his hands on the ball, he's got to hold on to it. And he gets his hands on a lot of basketballs. And he is a kind of guy that is Houston's worst nightmare because he's 6'10", 6'11", 260 something pounds, built like an absolute rock. And he's the kind of guy that gives teams tremendous issues, particularly a team like Houston that doesn't have all that great a size. And he's the guy that's got the height and he's got the bulk, and when he just gets it going, he's a vicious rebounder. I mean, he snags it, and if you get in his way, he's going to hurt you.
All right, we got Lauren Meadows up here. I'll let you go, Shane, after this. And that is, let's get his take on the player who's going to make the biggest difference tonight. Lauren's live from out in San Antonio. I know where you are. What's going on?
What's up, guys? I'm at the shops at Riverwalk. You're ready to head over to the game. And give me Elijah Martin. I think I heard Shane and JC talking this morning. Elijah Martin is a Houston player playing for Florida. And I think he'll be the one to set the tone early at the head of the snake on defense. And it'll be, I think Elijah Martin makes a big difference tonight.
All right, guys, hang on. Shane, I'll talk to you in the morning. Who else you got on besides me? Yes, Will here. Great. All right, I think I'll be there for you, brother. Tomorrow morning it's gonna be fun. Spot up with Matthews tomorrow morning.
All right, Shane. See you, QB.
I'm here.
All right, guys. No, French, you got to go pretty quick. Let's talk a little bit about this moment, and what it means to Gators. Franz, you're the granddaddy of them all. You've enjoyed this basketball team. You've been telling us all the while. We all went like, yeah, right. You've been telling us this team could be a national champion. I got to tell you, I didn't start believing until January. And I think Lauren, maybe it came around in February. I'm not sure when. But anyway.
After the Auburn loss. That's when I booked my ticket.
Yeah, there you go.
After the Auburn win, I booked my ticket that day to come out to San Antonio. So
quite a statement there. So I don't see any reason to change the strategy. Play a lot of people, friends. Get them all on the court. Rest up your stars for the last few minutes. Get that last 4-minute offense going. Something magical happens, friends, in that last 4 to 5 minutes. And usually it has Walter's name on it.
Well, he's the best player in the country. And, as I pointed out earlier tonight, buddy, the 3 best players in the country were on the court. Saturday, and only one of them emerged to play on the championship game, and he should have been the National Player of the Year. He is, as far as I'm concerned, the National Player of the Year. These other two guys, good ball players for sure, but the best player in the country is Walter Clayton Jr., and as a result of that, Florida is going to cut down the nets tonight.
I know you got to go. It's getting noisy in there, Francis. We'll talk to you. If we don't call you at midnight and Brendan decides to do a pop-up show, we'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, my friend? Thank you.
Take care,
Great
buddy.
job. Check him out. What he writes. He writes great stuff on GatorBaitMedia.com. All right, big fella. You and me. Let's break
Yes,
it down.
sir. Oh man, it's amazing out here, man. The Gator Nation is in full force. I agree with Franz. We got the best player in the country, most complete team in the country, and it's just been great. I mean, everybody's out here. Billy Napier's in town. Danny Werfel, Titus O'Neil. I mean, the heavy hitters are in the they're in the building for sure. So I mean, it's going to be a great night and a great basketball game. Probably the two best teams all year. I mean, Texas Tech basically had 5 really close losses, a couple in overtime, and it's going to be a rock fight tonight. But I think, like I told somebody, you could kind of see it with Paige Beckers. The best player seems to rise to the top in these moments, and that's Walter Clayton Jr.
Well, I'm glad you got the rock fight word in there because Francis used it every night except tonight. He forgot to use it. So
No, it's definitely going to be a rock fight.
We picked him up. So, that's I mean, it's nerve-wracking to watch this team get up by even 2 or down by 2, but to get down by 8 and nothing's going their way, and they're muscling in the paint. They're getting all points in the paint they wanted, and they kept no answer for the big guy. That's scary.
Yeah.
Tonight, if I haven't learned by now, I've got to stop getting nervous. Just chill and wait till the last 4 minutes because this team is built that way. This is not by accident. This is how Todd Golden designed his team.
Well, yeah, and I think he designed it with good mental and big, I guess, mental maturity and the ability to handle adversity in mind, too, because if you watch their body language in the last 2 games, they're not worried. The fans are worried, but Walter Clayton, Will Richard, Elijah Martin, Thomas Houck, they're not worried. I mean, they're dialed in to what they need to do, and you saw that. I mean, right out of half, boom, 8-0 run, we're right back into it. Then it's a ball game again. The best team comes out and wins. So watch their body language, stay consistent with that. And, I mean, Houston tries to break your will. That's what they do. I mean, they practice with the rims off for a reason. That's a real thing. So, but Florida has been really capable of playing any way you want to play. And like I said, I mean, watch their body language tonight, and that'll be interesting.
I don't know what it is, but something about they magically make up points. You're down by 8 or 10.
It ain't magic.
And they're ahead of the game. They get these 3-point buckets like they're falling off the back of turnip trucks.
Right.
I'll tell you about Titan. I'm supposed to tell you about Titan. I'm going to let you go. Titan MRI Imaging. Now Titan MRI Imaging is called. They were acquired high-field MRI. Joe Colorio. He's now back with them. He started high-field MRI in 1997. Titan MRI and Imaging has 3 locations to serve you, 2 in Gainesville and with his Park Avenue locations, and now at the Millennium Center. Parker, be sure and check them out if you need anything to do with a CAT scan, MRI, whatever. Titan MRI and Imaging. Lauren, have a great night. Enjoy.
Absolutely.
We may be calling for about 11:30 saying we're going to go live.
Yeah, let's do it. I got my headphones now, so I could get down. It was kind of windy on Saturday, so I couldn't jump on. I don't think the Wi-Fi. But what I do want to say is, and I want to say this, you know me, buddy. I try to write my stuff when I say it or whatever. But I want to give a shout out to Billy Napier because what a big Gator fan. Dan Bond was hanging out with me, and we ran into Billy Napier there at the team hotel. And he spent a lot of time with our very own Dan Bond, talked to him, took a picture with him. And, I can understand, and we'll talk about football, I know, next week with the spring game. But kudos to Billy. I want to give him give him a shout out to at least spending
Bond
time
also.
with
Yeah.
spending time with our man Dan Bond and was real gracious and I think we all can appreciate that.
Yeah, Dan's there for the big gymnastics. So Gators are going to the Nationals. Is Billy
Yes, sir.
Donovan there? I heard he was coming.
He was there Saturday. I don't know what I don't know if he'll be to come tonight. I don't know where the Bulls were off Saturday night, so he was able to make it. But I'm not sure he'll be here tonight. I would assume if they didn't play Saturday, they either played last night or they may be in the back-to-back. So I'm not sure.
All right, Lauren, you want to give me a score?
I said Rock Fight. I had 147. So if I do the math, that is 70. Give me Gators 72-75.
They went 75-72.
75-72. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
well, I'm gonna go a little higher. I'm gonna go 79-75 Gators.
Oh, you taking the big over then? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going the over.
Okay.
I think
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be fun.
All
Stay
right.
safe. Keep Dayglow out of trouble. Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
buddy.
I will. Okay.
All right, appreciate it. Lauren Meadows checking in got our whole crew checking in there from out in San Antonio, and it's going to be a great one. Meanwhile, here in Panama City, Dawn and I are getting ready to turn on the TV and enjoy the night. We may see you later, it may not, but whatever it is, it's going to be quiet. I just don't want to have this be such a exhausting game. I mean, right now it seems like every game is like your ticker might not work. You got to be careful about that. But it's really been fun. I'm going to hate to see it be over, but with all things must come to an end. I suppose if it does, it'll be it. And that's fine. It's been a great ride. But I want to say I hope you folks enjoy the game tonight. I'm certainly going to do it. I'm going to try to enjoy it. And you might be cutting down the nets tonight for a third national championship. Wouldn't that be something to be a part of that? Who thought it? Well, some guys did. I got to tell you, I didn't start believing until January, but I got to tell you now, I'm a believer. Gators 79-75. Enjoy it, folks.